It got very dark, and there was this strange humming sound.
Feed me!
Welcome back to Horror Recaps. In a few seconds, you're going to listen to a frightening tale narrated by me. Fear awaits you. Watch out and take care. Seymour Krelborn is arranging some flower vessels in the flower shop when the shelf falls off, and Seymour falls to the ground as well. The store owner, Mushnik, asks Seymour what's going on, and Seymour says it's nothing much. Audrey, who also works in the shop, walks into the shop and says good morning to Mushnik, even though it's almost closing time. Mushnik hears another sound of some items falling to the ground, and again he asks Seymour what's going on down there. He's about to ask Audrey to go down and see what Seymour is doing, but he soon notices the bruise around Audrey's eyes and suspects that Audrey's boyfriend, Orin Scrivello, has beaten her up again. Mushnik tells Audrey that he's beginning to think that Orin is not such a nice boy. Mushnik yells at Seymour when he falls with some ceramic pots, causing the pots to break into pieces. Audrey asks Mushnik not to yell at Seymour, then she promises to help Seymour clean up before the customers arrive. Mushnik then goes on to complain about the lack of customers, and how things are just not going well. Outside, Mushnik asks a group of 3 ladies sitting near his shop to leave. Frustrated at his business, Mushnik tells Audrey and Seymour that they shouldn't bother coming to the store tomorrow, and he's in fact going to close the store. But Seymour suggests that what they probably need to do for things to get better is to move in a new direction. Audrey tells Seymour to go downstairs and get the strange and interesting new plant he's been working on. She explains that when prominently displayed and advertised, Seymour's exotic plants will attract customers to the store. Seymour goes downstairs and returns with the strange plant, saying that the plant is not feeling well. He tells Mushnik that he named the plant Audrey II, after his co-worker Audrey. Seymour tries to explain to Mushnik that putting such an unusual plant in the window is going to attract more customers to the store, but Mushnik tells Seymour he sounds so ridiculous saying they could attract more customers by simply putting an unusual plant in the window. But then a man wearing a black suit and a hat walks into the store and says that he couldn't help noticing the strange and interesting plant in the window. He asks them what it is and Audrey tells the man the plant's name is Audrey II. The man says he has never seen anything like that before and asks where the plant was gotten from. Seymour explains that on the day of the total eclipse of the sun about a week ago, he stopped at the place of an old Chinese man who sometimes sold him weird and exotic cuttings, knowing how much Seymour likes strange plants. But that day, the Chinese man didn't have any unusual plants. Seymour was about to leave when the total eclipse happened, during which he heard a strange humming sound. Afterwards, the unusual plant appeared in the Chinese man's shop. Seymour was certain that the plant hadn't been there before the eclipse, but the Chinese man sold it to him anyway. The man wearing a suit admits that it's an unusual story and that the plant is indeed a fascinating one. He goes on to purchase some roses from the store. 2 women walk into the shop one after the other and express their admiration for the strange plant in the window. Then a couple walks in and expresses admiration also. Mushnik makes more sales and is happy to see the customers leave with smiles on their faces. Excited, Mushnik tells Seymour and Audrey that he's taking them out for dinner. Audrey declines, saying she has a date. Mushnik tries to discourage her from going on a date with her abusive boyfriend, but he does not succeed in convincing Audrey. Audrey leaves, and Seymour asks Mushnik if he's still going to take him out, but then Audrey II, the unusual plant, starts to wither. Mushnik tells him he's not going anywhere, but would rather stay around and take care of the sick plant. Then Mushnik leaves the shop. Now alone in the shop, Seymour gets a finger accidentally pierced by a thorn while singing to Audrey II. He then turns around and finds Audrey II looking somewhat more lively. Seymour brings a finger close to Audrey II, but nearly gets bitten by the plant. He continues to sing to the plant. Then he allows some drops of blood from his pierced finger to fall on the plant. Afterwards, the plant grows much larger than it was. Meanwhile, Audrey, although dating a guy she describes as semi-sadist, has some feelings for Seymour and secretly dreams of running away with him. Seymour continues to feed Audrey II with his blood, and the plant keeps growing larger. Seymour starts to become popular in town because of the plant, attracting more customers to the store. While in the flower shop one day, Mushnik asks Seymour if he has sent out Mrs. Shiva's order, but Seymour tells Mushnik that he forgot to do that. Seymour then runs to Audrey and asks her to help him arrange some flowers for a funeral. He tells Audrey that Mushnik is mad at him because he keeps forgetting things. Audrey tells him it's not really his fault because he has a lot on his mind, and maybe Mushnik is being too hard on him. Then she tells Seymour that he has to fix his low self-image, especially now that he is becoming successful and more popular. Perhaps he should consider buying himself some new clothes. Seymour admits he's not a good shopper, but Audrey offers to go shopping with him and help him pick things out. Seymour asks if that would be possible tonight, but Audrey says no because she's got a date with her boyfriend. Later, Orin Scrivello, Audrey's boyfriend, arrives at the flower shop in his motorcycle to pick up Audrey. Seymour tells Orin that they are closed for the day and he can't go into the shop right now. Audrey then steps out of the shop and tells Seymour that Orin is her boyfriend. Orin tells Seymour that he has seen him on the news and that he knows his name. Afterwards, Orin goes into the shop and sees Audrey II before finally riding away with Audrey. Seymour is unhappy about how Orin treats Audrey. He is about to leave the flower shop, but turns to find that Audrey II has withered. Knowing that the plant needs blood to blossom, Seymour asks the plant to give him some time to heal because he currently does not have enough blood to feed it. But then Audrey II speaks for the first time and tells Seymour to feed it, that it's starving. Seymour is shocked to hear the plant speak, but maintains that he doesn't have any blood to feed it. Seymour suggests picking up some meat, but Audrey II says it must be fresh blood. Audrey II promises Seymour wealth, fame, and fortune if he can feed it what it wants. Audrey II even says there are a lot of people who deserve to die, but Seymour says he does not know anyone who should be chopped off just to feed a hungry plant. But Seymour changes his mind after seeing Orin hit Audrey. Seymour visits Orin at the hospital where he works. He has a gun with him, but he ends up not using the gun on Orin. However, Orin asphyxiates while abusing the nitrous oxide. Seymour wraps Orin in a body bag and takes him to the flower store. He drags the corpse to Audrey II in the flower shop, and Audrey II orders Seymour to chop the corpse up and feed it. Seymour says okay and takes the corpse away. He uses an axe to chop Orin's body. But unknown to him, Mushnik sees him chopping the body and runs away. Audrey II is excited when Seymour finally serves it pieces of Orin's body. Later, Seymour looks out through the window and finds Audrey standing next to some policemen. After the policemen have left, Seymour meets Audrey and tries to find out what the policeman told her. Audrey does not want to disclose this at first, but after some time, she tells Seymour that Orin is missing. Audrey runs down the staircase and starts to cry. Seymour tries to console Audrey. He asks her if it would be so terrible if something happened to Orin. Audrey does not seem pleased to hear that, but when Seymour repeats the question, Audrey admits it wouldn't be terrible at all, and it would rather be a miracle. But she still feels guilty that it is partly her fault if Orin was involved in some kind of terrible accident because she wished for it. Seymour tells her not to waste her time thinking about Orin. He tells her there are a lot of nice guys who'd like to have her. But Audrey says she's lived a terrible life and does not deserve a nice guy. Audrey tries to talk about her past which she considers ugly, but Seymour tells her she has nothing to be ashamed of, and all of that is now in the past. Seymour goes on to tell her how he feels about her, and Audrey lets him know about her feelings for him too. Mushnik walks into Seymour while he's lying on the bed and confronts him about Orin. Seymour tries at first to pretend he doesn't know what Mushnik is talking about, but Mushnik makes it clear to him that he saw everything that happened. At this point, Seymour admits it's true that he chopped Orin up, but denies being responsible for his death. Mushnik pulls out a gun, points it at Seymour and threatens him with the police. Mushnik changes his mind and tells Seymour he has to leave the town. And he'll have to teach him how to take care of Audrey too, so that he can take care of the plant while he's out of the town. Mushnik gets swallowed by Audrey II just before Seymour could let out the secret. Although Seymour's popularity continues to increase, he's worried about Audrey II's strangely rapid growth and its hunger for blood. Later, Seymour is offered some money and a contract for a TV show. He is excited and plans to leave the town together with Audrey as soon as he gets the money. He proposes to Audrey, and she accepts his proposal. The two plan to get married right away and leave the following day. Seymour enters the store and tries to quietly walk past Audrey II, but Audrey II notices Seymour's presence and asks him to feed it. Seymour refuses to feed Audrey II, but after the plant continues to request for food, Seymour offers to get some meat from the butcher. While Seymour is away, Audrey II grabs the telephone, calls Audrey and makes her come into the store and then tries to swallow her. Seymour returns back to the store and pulls Audrey out of Audrey II's mouth. But Audrey has been badly hurt and is likely to die soon. Audrey informs Seymour that Audrey II has told her that Orin and Mushnik are inside of it. Seymour admits that he fed them to Audrey II, and that is why the plant has grown so large. Then Audrey tells Seymour that she is going to pass away very soon, and he should feed Audrey II with her remains. She also says that when she's eaten by the plant, she will become a part of it, and that way they'll still be together somehow. Audrey finally dies, and Seymour carries her and places her in the mouth of Audrey II. Afterwards, Seymour runs out of the shop and climbs to the roof of a building. He wants to eliminate himself, when Patrick Martin from a botanical company offers Seymour a contract to breed and distribute Audrey II's saplings across the United States. Seymour is not interested in the offer, so he runs back into the store and confronts Audrey II. Seymour learns that Audrey II is an alien from outer space. He gets a gun and shoots Audrey II, but Audrey II doesn't get hurt. Audrey II snatches the gun from Seymour and starts to shoot carelessly across the shop. Audrey II destroys the flower shop and finally swallows Seymour. Meanwhile, across various American cities, creatures that are exactly like Audrey II have grown into monsters and are destroying houses and cars, and eating humans. American soldiers try to resist the creatures, but it appears to be too late now, and the creatures are unstoppable. Make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you can watch more videos like this. Thanks for watching.